Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to avoid saturation with your Instagram campaigns and how to set up UTM links so you can track the performance of multiple influencers all posting stories on the same day. So to create a UTM link, we're going to start off on the shop page, and you can either do your home page of your store or you can do the product page. Because we're mainly focusing on this one product, I'm just going to copy this product's URL, and we're going to go over here to this campaign URL builder. Actually, I'm going to show you guys how to get here. So just to show you guys how to get there again, we're going to type in Google Analytics UTM link builder. And you're going to go to the campaign URL builder. I'm pretty sure any of these will work perfectly fine. I don't think it really matters what you use. They're all just going to look a little different. So we're going to come to the website URL and we're going to paste in whatever we actually want it to link to. Wherever we want the traffic actually sent to, whatever we want to open up when people swipe up or click this link, this is what we're putting in the website URL. So the next thing is the campaign source. So this is generally where we're going to put the name of the influencer or the name of the company that owns the pages if it's multiple pages. This is just basically where you're going to be able to see who is actually pushing this traffic on your back end. For our purposes, for this campaign source, we're just going to put test 1. And then we're going to come down to the medium. So you may or may not use the medium. Generally for the medium, I would put either IG or Twit or whatever a shortened term for the platform I'm promoting on is. So because we're talking about Instagram right now, we're just going to put an IG. You can fill in these other bars here as well if you want to get a little more in depth with your links, or you can choose not to. It doesn't really matter. Let's say, for example, you want to do a specific sale, so you just want to be able to track that specific sale. So for campaign name, you might put in something like Christmas. Who knows? Maybe it's your Christmas sale. So this will just remind you that this is for your Christmas sale. Now, we don't actually need that, so we're not going to have that. So we're going to come down to copy URL. And we're just going to paste it in and make sure it works, so it shows the whole thing. Here's your source, and then here's your medium. So we're going to hit enter, and beautiful. So once we've done that, our UTM is set up. Now what I like to do is I will come back to my sheet, and if I'm using UTMs, then I'm just going to add here right after the PayPal info. I'm going to insert a column to the right, and I'm going to call this UTM link. And next to the name of the influencer, let's say their name is Test. This is where I'm going to paste in that link that we just made. And then whenever you put in the time, it'll shorten whatever's in the cell to the left. So we can say 2 p.m. EST. So here we go. So now we have the link, and if we ever need to refer back to it, it's here. Now, one thing to keep in mind is I don't always use UTM links. The only time I'm using UTMs is when I need to get really specific with my tracking for whatever reason. If I have a product that's just doing really well and basically every page is doing well with it, then I don't really need to do this. It's kind of a waste of time. But if you're running on multiple channels, let's say you're running several influencers on Twitter and several influencers on Instagram every single day, then you might want to use UTM so that way it doesn't get super confusing. So now once you have your UTM, you can just go to analytics.google.com, and we're going to wait for this to load. So once it loads, you can come down to acquisition and then go to all traffic, and then source medium is generally what you're going to want to sort it by. And then you're going to want to make sure it's today's date, obviously, whatever day it is that you're setting this up. So now that we've set it up, cool. You can see that we have test 1 IG here. The reason why the numbers look kind of funny is because I'm filming my videos out of order a little bit, just so that way I can make sure I get you guys all the information that you need. I chose not to use a UTM link for our first campaign. Otherwise, I would have showed you guys me creating this ahead of time. The only reason why I didn't do that is because I didn't want to make it too difficult to follow along, And also, it's not necessary for all campaigns. I didn't think it would be necessary for our campaign. If I did, I would have used it. But anyways, you can see here we have test 1 over IG, so it's showing us this is the source, this is the medium, and now we can actually run with this link if we want to. We can send this out to whatever influencers we want to. Just make sure that however you choose to separate it, if you're separating it by page, so let's say you want a different UTM link for every single page, make sure you have that noted, so you'll want the source to be different every single time for every single page. Let's say you just want a different source for every different influencer because some influencers own multiple pages. That's usually how I do it. In that case, you would just create one UTM for each influencer. So another thing to remember is you obviously don't have to change the medium every time. If it's all going to be on IG, then you can just keep the medium as IG or Instagram or whatever you want it to say. I stick with IG just because it's shorter and it's easier to work with. So now that we have a UTM set up, we can continue to set up more if that's what we need. It's all just going to be dependent on your campaign. I would say they're definitely not necessary at all in the early stages. They really don't become very useful until you're pushing a lot of traffic, and even then it's a case-by-case basis of whether or not it's going to be necessary for you. So I know I mentioned it before, but I just want to reiterate now that we're getting to the end of the Instagram piece. It's very important that you don't post shout-outs on the same page for the same store 2 days in a row. And it's also super important that you continue to create new content and switch out the content every other time that the influencer posts. You want to make sure that the audiences seeing your ads aren't getting tired of them. Otherwise, you're going to saturate your product and your store very quickly, and then you won't continue to profit or make sales. Avoiding saturation and setting up UTM links, how I've explained to you in this video, are going to be the two most important factors in your ability to scale long term. The better job you do at keeping track of everything that goes on, as well as learning to read the metrics and continue to optimize your campaigns, the more you'll be able to see long-term profit, and the easier scaling is going to become for you. A lot of people have difficulty scaling with their first store because they're not super organized, or they haven't gotten a hang of getting to read analytics and being able to optimize based off of the feedback that they get from Google Analytics and from the post insights. So you want to make sure that you do a good job at organizing everything from the beginning. And if you need any help analyzing your insights, you can always ask me in the Facebook group or ask one of the other coaches, and we'll be able to help you understand your insights a little bit better. Something important to remember is that it's not exactly something that you can just be taught. That's kind of what separates a veteran dropshipper from someone who's really new to dropshipping. The more you do dropshipping and the more stores you create and the more success you have, the better you're going to get at just reading these analytics and these insights and knowing exactly where to go from there. So you want to make sure that you have a solid foundation and you know how to track it all from the beginning, so that way you never run into issues with that later on. And with that being said, you guys should be able to scale your campaigns now on Instagram, and I hope it does great for you guys. If not, let's try and work on it. Just let me know, and I would be super glad to help you guys. And that's pretty much it for getting your first Instagram campaigns going. I'll be going over some advanced tips in the next video, but now you guys should be fully capable of running your campaigns and scaling them up on your own. So I'll see you guys next time.